So now we're stuck in this portion of this tomb-like area with these fucking ghouls. And if you don't know, a group of ghouls being stuck in a confined area, in the dark, well, I mean, we had torches and everything, but being stuck in a confined area with a bunch of ghouls, that can be nasty. Like, you know, ghouls might seem like something, oh yeah, fucking ghoul, whatever. But like at earlier levels, a group of ghouls, that's some serious shit. That's a serious fucking encounter right there. And of course, naturally my first response is to dig my bastard sword into the closest one I can skull, and I do so. I'm just like, because I believe I am the first one to spot them, because I'm like the one who made his like, perception roll, and I hear something coming up from behind us, and the second I turn around, I've already, I'm like, I turn around with like my hand at the ready, my sword, and sure enough, fucking ghoul. I swing that fucking thing down, and at the same time, I'm, at the same time, I bury this fucking bastard sword in this dude's head because I, got the roll. It's like at the same time I bury it in this dude's head, I'm just like, everybody, turn around, fight! We got a fight on our hands! And everybody fucking turns around and they see these fucking ghouls, and man, Mac runs up and he starts going to town. He's, trying to break one of these things' kneecaps and just take it down as quick as he can, and fucking Talim over here, she whips out her two, because aside from her, like, her main bow, she also had these, like, two, like, one-handed, crossbows. She had, like, dual wielding, and I guess, David, was like, yeah, sure, you could dual wield, you know, light crossbows. They're like offhanded crossbows or whatever. And so she instantly whips those out, and she just starts, and she's got this thing where she's got these little um, notches on these straps on her legs and stuff, to where she could shove those little the strings of those little crossbows down and just like reload it that way. So she 1-2, and then she'd fucking drop them down to her knees, and she'd cock the fucking string back, and then she'd have like bolts like on her arms and stuff, like on sashes on her arms, and she'd load them up that way. So that was pretty cool. It allowed her to load a little bit quicker than you normally would. And so she's going back and forth with those things. And of course, our two spell users are lobbing fucking fire and acid again, right? No real general concern for like getting any of it splashed on me. They're just like, oh shit, and they just start lobbing the shit, right? Of course, Edwin, he's out there with his sword, and like, haha, just taking jabs and pokes at one of them, trying to divert its attention, and just everybody's just fucking these things up. And Mac's dog's in there too, Snips, and he's just like, with Max trying to rip the legs apart of this one fucking ghoul and disable it. Snips could be pretty mean when he wanted to be. It's a mean fucking dog. Um, and sure enough, with a little bit of effort, we get through that encounter, and we've now officially made enough noise to where everybody fucking in this in the entirety of this place knows where the fuck we're at, right? And so there's no point in sneaking around anymore, and so we just descend further in there, weapons at the ready, just, waiting any kind of like trap and stuff. And sure enough, we get into this room where there's a whole bunch of pots, and there's some beds and stuff like that, right? Kind of like the barracks. And there are these guys who I guess made like little holes and stuff up in the roof, right? To like sneak up on, like four of these guys on each corner, right? In these little holes in the roof. They've got their own little cubby hole attic places and stuff. And they jump down and they, you know, get ready to, fight us and stuff like that. They're getting the drop on us. And there's the door we came in, and then there's a door in front of us. And out of the door in the front of us, I shit you not, these guys have a trained dire weasel. I didn't even know a dire weasel was a thing. Apparently, dire weasels are a thing. And so now this fucking thing is like fucking trying to engage in battle with us, but luckily Snips kind of jumps in the way of the fucking weasel, and they go at it for a little while we're taking care of these guys. And I mean, really, even with cornering us, they're not much, in the way of a challenge, not to the degree that the ghouls were, I guess their big thing that they were relying on was this fucking dire weasel. And man, props to fucking Max Dog, because Snips killed that fucking thing. Took it on by itself and just fucking tore it up. So we get past that little encounter. We're moving all up in this fucking place. There are multiple rooms and stuff, and there's just tons of traps that they've set for us. Like ballistas that they've set up, and spring traps, with like little spikes and stuff like that, and like posts with spikes and shit, and like things that would shoot poisonous darts and stuff at you, and all kinds of shit, and they'd have like traps that would spring up, and it would shoot a crossbow bolt into like a pot across the way. Like if it didn't get you, the bolt would go across the room into like a pot, and the pot would be like filled with poison and shit. And they were really into guarding this place. Luckily we had all kinds of like potions and stuff like that. So, and David wasn't the kind of guy to pull the item misconsumption bullshit on us, which is a story for another day. When my friend Scott was DMing a campaign back when I was in high school, the first campaign, the one that was kind of the nightmare. Haven't gotten to that story yet, but there is something involving item misconsumption in that particular story. But yeah, luckily David wasn't that much of an asshole. And eventually we get down. Look, I still can't remember this guy's name. He's the first bandit leader, and he's like this dual sword wielding badass, like he fucking sees us, and he's got like a few men there, and he has them charge in at us, and we beat the shit out of them. We take them out in no time. And he uses this kind of time to like ready himself and shit. He's got these two swords he's whipped out. And I shit you not, just by himself, he manages to take on our group quite a while. He holds his own. He was some kind of level of fighter or some shit because, man, he is just fucking all over the place, man. He's just swashbuckling the shit out of us, He's like fighting multiple of us at the same time, and he's like rolling around, on the ground and trying to get behind people. He's going at it. He's going to town. And it took us a while to get past him. We were like, holy shit. He's giving everybody a run for their money. I can't, for the life of me, recall his name. It was something ridiculous. Trust me. I have the module on PDF somewhere, but I'm not going to bother to look it up because fuck that nonsense. But yeah, he had some kind of ridiculously outrageous name. Who cares? All I know was he was one of the bandit leaders, and he was pretty good at what he did. Kind of an asshole, but I guess that's kind of goes with the territory. So eventually, we get down, and I do think his swords were also enchanted. Well, one of them was enchanted. I remember that. It was like a plus something in like, piercing or something like that. It was a plus something, some odd fucking sword with something else on it. And the other sword, because I remember it distinctly, and we were kind of like, that's odd. David was explaining, the stuff we were taking off of him. And David said, yeah, his other sword is made out of silver. Silver sword. Like, that's fucking weird. Like, what does he need with a silver sword, he's got a chest and stuff with a bunch of shit in it. And, we've taken all the gold that he initially took from other people, so, whatever. But eventually we get down into the final room, and we are greeted by Gato. I said Goto last time, or Gato last time. It's Gato. So my bad. And boy, does he give us the surprise of a lifetime, because as it turns out, Gato was a were-rat. And the moment he saw a huge party coming at him, he instantly fucking transformed, and him alone was a fight in and of itself, because of the simple fact that we're over here fighting him, and he's jumping around just like the last guy did, but he's got all kinds of like enhancements and stuff to him now that he's like morphed into this fucking were-rat. And he's got these knives with, like, poison on them and shit, and he's just all over the fucking place. He's trying to bite us and stab us, and fucking, you would knock, like, one of his knives away, and he'd try and claw at you, and, like, inevitably reach for another knife, because they were all over his person, right? And he had clothes that would kind of, like, I guess, stretch out with him and his were-rat person, so I guess he didn't have to worry about tearing up his shit. And so, for the most part, most of that fight went, oh shit, don't let him fucking bite you or scratch you, it's kind of like one of those fights where like, oh shit, keep him away from me, because none of us want to be a were-rat. So most of the fight was this kind of like, tag him and back off sort of thing. Like corner him off to a section, tag him, back off, and repeat, and watch out, because he's jumping all around like a fucking maniac. But yeah, no, none of us were willing to become were-rats that day.